Welcome back. I hope you've been enjoying the series of eye committees. Again, Sensei Kerry Moore will be helping me today. So we'll be covering number 6, Roppongi. Right. Hiya! Right. Hiya! Right. So when you're breaking it down, you not just do Surakami. Yeah? Try and lead and take this hand. And Kuriashi. Kuriashi. Kuriashi, then Surakami. To get you into kicking distance. Kuriashi. Surakami Maegere. Now, Nagashi Gaku. As I'm pulling back, I do a similar Ashibarai to Oyokomiti number 2. So you're hooking them. Now I want to try and get my body to land in the right position for my Shigeri. So, when you're practicing Nanamezuki, it's one of the most used punches in Wado, in your partner work. So when you're practicing it in basics, in Kions, don't think, oh, I'm never going to use this technique, because it is the most common. So here, Nanamigaku. As I pull back, I'm making sure that I cover. And of course, I'll also do a little bit of a Kazushi if I wanted to. Before I went into the Ashibarai. 1, to take off. I'm covering all the time. I use this angle for the Moshigeri. Some of you are very, very flexible. I've seen before they come around and they do Moshigeri Jodan, or they come really up high for Moshigeri. But this is the most minimum angle that you can take. Yeah? And I take full advantage of it because my hip's not too brilliant. Okay? It's still got a long way to go, but we're trying. Moshigeri doesn't have to be with the top of your foot. Yeah? Moshigeri can be with your foot, your shin, your knee, your thigh. So if you find that you are very close, yeah, then Moshigeri with the thigh or the knee, that's fine. Yeah? Still a technique. Depends what your distance is away and how tall you are or how short your legs are. So don't think you've got to do a perfect textbook Moshigeri with the top of your foot. Yeah, if you don't want to come back too much, Izageri. Shin, which I find quite useful. I find it more powerful than trying to do it with just a flat of your foot. Also, with the ball of your foot, it's just off of Maegeri. Maegeri, small angle. It's still a Moshigeri because you're coming round. More hip, more turn. Yeah, so depending on how much you want to practice, ball of foot, shin, knee, top of the foot, try all different types. Then you've practiced all different distances. Thank you. So when you're practicing your Oyokomitais, try and line up the next technique. So I'm pushing right the way in with the Gakuzuki. Then I want to use my hip. But I also want to try and land in the start of the Mashigiri. So instead of putting your foot down and sort of moving around, yeah, try and use your hip and your shoulders to land you in the right position. So there's no wasted movement. You're going from one finished technique straight into the next one. There's no stop, land, adjust, kick, land, stop, adjust. You're making the technique flow.
So, you can break this down into two parts as far as uke is concerned. The first part is to help your partner. So we've touched on this in other Oyo videos, is that if they're not careful, they can end up hitting your elbow. So to start with, you might just give them a fighting chance and move your elbow out the way. But if they come to rely on you moving the elbow, that's not really developing them. So help them out a little bit, try not to injure them, but eventually you're going to have to think of your defence, and your defence is to keep the elbow in tight. So then they've got to develop strategies and movements to defeat the elbow. And that is part of a skill set that takes a long time to develop. And it's recognising body shapes, so you know instinctively where your available targets are. So if you just keep practicing this Oyo and keep doing the Mawashi Chudan, eventually somebody is going to drop their elbow, and then you're going to get injured, break your foot, break your shin, whatever you're going to do. So by trying to develop this skill set of trying to find out where your available target is, you're not just going to the same place every time. You're looking for the point where there is an available target. And if that's Jodan, then go Jodan. If there's no Chudan area available, you need to go Jodan. I was joking with Sensei Roger earlier that you might even want to come over to the dark side and go for the leg. It's an available target, and if they're really well covered up, head's covered, body's covered, there's maybe only the leg left. So it's developing this, what's available, and it's milliseconds. You've done the rest of the technique, millisecond scan of what's going on, where's my target. So little skill sets you can work on. So if somebody's really guarded well, covered up, try and work out where it is and see if you can reduce the time it takes to identify the target. And help your partner out. You know, give them a few free shots and then start covering up a little bit more, and then they can develop that skill set. So there's more going on with these than just poking your arms and legs out. You can sort of use them to develop other skills along the way. So a two-way street.
Okay, number 6, you really have to work your Mai or Mai with the Surakami Maigeri and then the Okuriashu for the Gaku Jodan. But then you sort of have to work it backwards. Instead of just going forward, you have to work your mai when you're coming back for the ashibarai, and possibly back again for the mai shigeri. So your mai for the attacker is not just all about going forward. It's about going to the side or pushing slightly off at 45 degrees. Yeah? If you've done the one ashibarai, Sensei, could I borrow you? So you've done the one ashibarai. If you've gone too far out and you realised that you can't do a good mai shigeri, there's not a problem with you dropping and going right the way down. I think Sensei Kerry mentioned in the ukis that, after the ashibarai, if he's well protected, yeah, then you can kick, yeah, or ashibarai. Yeah, so I put those variations into this technique. Yeah, wherever you find yourself, try and assess it quickly and adapt. Not only forward, creating distance, but going back and creating distance, or going to the side, creating distance. If the distance is too much, utilize it. If it's not enough, then use whatever portion of the leg or fist or elbow that you've got. So you have to make those assessments pretty quick. Yeah? Hush.